I got my first Bitcoin when it was $800 a coin.
Wow.
So that tells you just from that point until at its highest last year, it went to 108,000 per coin. That's a lot of growth in
That's
there,
a lot of
right?
growth.
What year was that?
That was in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. But that wasn't the first time I heard about it. I heard about it as an investment banker in 2010. One of our clients came to us. He was in the technology space, African American gentleman. He was talking about technology that he was going to purchase back that belonged to indigenous people, was taken away from them, and now he was going to purchase it back. And he started talking about it, and he was explaining it. We had like 3 meetings with him because as an investment banker, when I facilitated financing for someone, my businesses or my clients needed anywhere from $1 million to $200 million. I had to first say, okay, yes, it's a deal that I want to take on because it was a lot of work.
So it's being said that we are in the midst of the largest transfer of wealth in modern history. That means that the middle class, if you're in the middle class, there'll be a larger separation between who is wealthy and who's in poverty. So if you are in the middle class, we're being told that we should invest more, specifically in cryptocurrency. But do we know what that is? A lot of people have questions. There's a very small percentage of people who are actually currently investing in cryptocurrency, and even more that don't even understand what it is. So today, our topic is the blockchain and cryptocurrency. And we have the blockchain queen, Miss Tonya Lawrence. She's joining us today. So I'm Dawn Garrett. And this is my co-host, Tanya Thomas Bellamy. And we're going to get you wealthy.
Yes.
That's our goal today.
Right. So I'm coming from a perspective of probably a lot of our viewers. This is something that's very new to me. My good girlfriend Dawn has been in my ear for a few months about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all of those things. So I feel like the questions that I will be asking today will definitely be what a lot of our viewers would like to know. So what exactly is cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency is digital currency. You want to think of it as like a stock. When you purchase a stock and you own that asset, it has a value. It's just not something that's tangible that you can hold on to. If you are in high finance or a wealthier individual, you can take your stock portfolio and leverage it for loans, for cash advances. With cryptocurrency, it's kind of the same thing. You can leverage that portfolio, but you can also exchange it for cash immediately through debit cards, or someone who's willing to accept that cryptocurrency as a payment can take that currency from you in the form of a payment.
So what type of businesses really accept cryptocurrency? Is it your everyday places, or most of the places that would accept cryptocurrency, are they, what kind of businesses accept that?
That is a great question. So it depends on the country or where you're at. And the United Arab Emirates, they accept digital currency more readily than most places because they are just forward thinking. And think of them, they're like the Jetsons, right? It is beautiful over there. You could eat off the ground on the sidewalk anywhere you go. They accept a form of digital currency that's most used called USDT. It's tied to the value of the US dollar, and they accept that readily anywhere. But in the United States, there are utility companies, there are phone companies that you can pay your phone bill, utility bills with cryptocurrency. Also at car dealerships, any luxury places, you want to buy you a little mini yacht or a big yacht, you want to buy an airplane, you want to buy a mansion. Most of the sellers know that the new wealth is coming from cryptocurrency over the last 10 years. And so they are accepting cryptocurrency as payment. And also there are law firms set up around the world that are designed specifically to say, you want to buy this asset and they want cash, we will take your cryptocurrency, convert it to cash, and send it to them for you on your behalf.
So when they do that, I'm assuming there's a charge for that or some type of way that they're making money off of that when they do it. What's the average percentage that they would normally take from that?
It depends. It depends on the size of the transaction, the frequency that you'll be working with them. You get a big buyer's discount or someone who's going to be a frequent customer discount. But usually the charge, if it's a smaller transaction, can range anywhere from about a point to 3 points on a transaction.
So let's go over what the blockchain is really quick. Just kind of give an overview of what it is, and then I'll follow up with my next question.
Okay, and so I promise not to geek out. Go
ahead, geek out.
Because it's about time for all of us to geek out.
Okay,
that's what we're on right
now. I got started in this space 8 years ago, and I fell in love with the technology, and it came at kind of the perfect time for me because I was retiring as an investment banker. So I had a lot of time on my hand. I had just moved to Maryland, and we spent one winter in the house. My husband and I retired. That didn't work out. Yeah. So we're like, okay, we need something to do. We need hobbies. This is not going to work. And I was starting to learn about blockchain technology and became fascinated and started having Zooms with people around the world who were just like-minded, finding chat rooms just to communicate with people. The big thing for me with the blockchain technology, especially for someone who was an investment banker, was the way that money was moving, how quickly it was moving, and the fact that it was not owned by a government, it was not owned by a bank, and you could do what you wanted with it, and it leveled the playing field. So the blockchain is a big open book ledger. Everything that happens between one wallet and another wallet is public knowledge. But what isn't public knowledge is who owns that wallet.
Wow.
So you get to have your autonomy, plus you get to be transparent at the same time. So think about when you previously in our historic days, we all 27, right?
Yes, of
okay,
course.
Right. Since we all 27, we're all on the same page. A few years ago, when we got paid, when we worked for someone, we got a paycheck. We would take that paycheck to the bank and we would have to stand in a line on a Friday, that was a thing, or a Saturday. We stood there for sometimes hours, stood in line, we handed the cashier the check, and she had to go as the teller and make sure that that account had enough money to cash that check. Well, now computers around the world do that for us. Those computers, and usually the minimum is 6 computers at a time, have to confer and have to have consensus that there's enough money for this Tonya to send money to that Tonya. And when they do that, the money is moved on the blockchain, on that big open ledger. So you can see what time I sent it, how fast it got to you. There's no more the check is in the mail. There's no more, oh girl, I sent that to you, you didn't get it. No ma'am, that does not work. Send me the hash. I need those receipts. Send me the receipts. And you can see right away that the money was sent or it wasn't, and then if it came to you or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
And most crypto,
game changer.
And most crypto, does it sit on the blockchain?
A lot of it. There is the ability to have your funds sitting in an exchange on the blockchain. That is considered a hot wallet. Then there's the ability to have a more secure process when you're moving your funds to what looks like a thumb drive, and that's cold storage. So it's a little bit more secure. It's not sitting on someone's exchange.
So with crypto, I know most people are most familiar with Bitcoin, and people hear about like XRP and Doge and things like that. But so there's word on the street that Bitcoin is going to grow to say $1 million at some point. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely. I got
$1 million per coin. I should clarify.
Yes, $1 million per coin.
Yeah.
I got my first Bitcoin when it was $800 a coin.
Wow.
So that tells you just from that point until at its highest last year, it went to 108,000 per coin. That's a lot of growth in
That's
there.
a lot of growth.
Right?
What year was that?
That was in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. But that wasn't the first time I heard about it. I heard about it as an investment banker in 2010. One of our clients came to us. He was in the technology space, African American gentleman. He was talking about technology that he was going to purchase back that belonged to indigenous people, was taken away from them, and now he was going to purchase it back. And he started talking about it, and he was explaining it. We had like 3 meetings with him because as an investment banker, when I facilitated financing for someone, my businesses or my clients needed anywhere from $1 million to $200 million. I had to first say, okay, yes, it's a deal that I want to take on because it was a lot of work. And number 2, I had to fill a reasonable amount of surety that we would be able to facilitate the financing. And so we had several meetings with him, and I was like, this man's a genius. Like, just with all the stuff he was talking about, that was probably my favorite part of working as an investment banker. I learned so much about every type of company you can imagine. So in these meetings, we're learning, he's sharing information with us. It was great to learn this information. And then, it became brass tacks, like, okay, we did our due diligence. We will take you on as a client. Our retainer for that particular project was $25,000. And he said, because as a new business, a startup, he would have had to have 20% cash for his project, dependent on the lender. We had some programs where he could have used tangible equity, whole different story. But he was like, if I need to have this cash, I won't have the additional $25,000 above and beyond that to give to you as a retainer. Would you mind, can I pay you in Bitcoin? And we were like, what is that? No clue. What is that? And so he started explaining it's a digital currency, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden my spidey senses went up. Now, all before that, this man was a genius, right?
Yeah.
But when he started talking about funny money, everybody is like giving people the side eye.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So I understand when people still feel that way. I'm like, trust me, I was the same way.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I told you I didn't get my first coins until 2016.
Yeah.
This was 2010.
Wow.
So he told us about digital currency. He kept explaining, and I was like, oh, well, you know what? Let me see what I can find out, and I'll get back to you. So I reached out to an attorney that was a friend and colleague. When we would need access to a CEO of a bank or a bank president, we would call his law firm, he would reach out to them, and it was symbiotic because, he got to close deals, we got to do deals together. It was great to have this working relationship. And I called him, told him what I found out about this Bitcoin or digital currency. I said, I don't know anything about it. The guy wants to pay us $25,000 worth. At that time, it was 10 cents a coin.
Wow.
Y'all feel me already?
Yes.
So that's like millions of dollars.
250,000 coins.
Wow.
It would have been over $250 billion
Today.
at the height of
Wow.
Bitcoin. So fast forward, 2 days go by. He reached out to a few bank presidents. They got back to him. They had their discussions. He called me, and I felt like I could trust him. Period. We did deals together, and he could talk to people who would tell him things that they might not tell me. Their advice was to stay away from it. It was illegal, and we would go to jail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's what we've been hearing a lot.
Yeah.
People have been saying that for a long time until recently. Now I hear more people that are interested in going into Bitcoin because it's more talked about now. I think so.
Isn't that the way things always happen?
Right.
Yeah.
They misinform us.
Yeah.
Don't have me Kendrick Lamar, nobody out here right now.
Right.
They misinform us, right? So that they can figure out how to
Mhm.
manipulate and control the situation.
Yes.
So that then they can give it to us as consumers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so we turned it down, and some time went by. It was now like 2012, 2013. And like many other large companies and municipalities, the city of New York, the city of Baltimore, our infrastructure was hacked. We had multiple offices around the country. One of my employees, I was in the Pennsylvania office, my employee got an email, he forwarded it to me and was like, I don't know what this is. And then just like something out of the Matrix or a movie, this big screen popped up. I couldn't access anything on my computer. And it said our infrastructure was being held for ransom. And we needed to pay the ransom. And guess what? Bitcoin.
That's crazy.
Right.
What?
This is now my second exposure. Someone I trusted said, stay away from it. I'll go to jail. And now some kidnapper of our data is saying, pay us the ransom in Bitcoin. And so I called every person that I've ever financed a deal. IT deals or any technology companies. No one could figure out how to get our data back. No one knew how to get Bitcoin at that time still. We were like, I was so stressed out, I forgot about the guy who originally offered it to us. Hindsight 2020. And so when we start hearing on the news that the city of New York and Baltimore, where their infrastructures were hacked, we said, okay, forget it. It's a wash. We had other offices. We had data there. We just have to rebuild from one of the other offices. And that's what we did. So that was 2 exposures. One being told that it was illegal and I would go to jail. The other one, a criminal using it for ransom. And so I had my mind made up. We moved on with life, and it was after the Obama administration, we were heavily invested in helping municipalities and energy projects get developed because that was his big push with the ARRA stimulus plan. And we were going around financing solar farms and geothermal and biodiesel, anything you can think of that was renewable energy. Those things were like whipping through our office, and we loved it. And so a friend who was an engineer who also brought deals to us, and we worked on deals together, asked me, had I heard of the blockchain? And I was like, no, tell me about it, because I'm thinking it has something to do with solar. I was like, if I need to know about this for my clients, let me know. And he said, oh yeah, it's Web 3.0. It's the next version of the internet. And the first application that they have on it is Bitcoin. And I was like, oh no. I've heard of that. It's illegal. You'll go to jail. And he was like, I don't know where you heard that, but and he was like, trust me, I need you to look at this. I really need you to study this technology. And I did that. I sat down, I started going anywhere I could, reaching out to anyone that I could to say, do you know someone? Do you know someone? And started building those communities and that infrastructure, and learned as much as I could, and absolutely fell in love with the transparency of the technology. And then had to sit back and think like, man, what happened in 2010, right? Did the banks not want us to compete? Because for us, that was just one transaction of $25,000 that maybe one of them wouldn't have received. It might have been a ripple effect for them, knowing what's going on, or were they ill-informed as well? And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching people, because my family lost legacy money. Legacy money because of misinformation. I don't know if they had the wrong information or if they were being deceitful. And then my perception, because a criminal had used it, well, they use the US dollar every day, right? That would make that thing illegal. People use wrenches to commit crimes. They use hammers. It doesn't make the hammer, the wrench, or the US dollar illegal. It makes the bad actor a bad actor, and they're going to do and use anything that they can to commit bad acts. So when I got past that, I was like, the gut punch, and just started learning. And at that time, started reaching out and communicating with people all over the world, doing Zooms with people all over the world, going and traveling across the country to hotels, and anyone who would have me and listen to me, like, crypto, blockchain technology. I was so excited to talk about it and to find some unique, interesting, nerdy people who were willing to listen.
That's funny.
What was the makeup of these conferences? Were they conferences or just?
There would be about 2 people out of a room of 100 that looked like me. Yeah, every time.
What's interesting, you were saying that it was 250,000 Bitcoin and how much that would be worth today. So that makes you think it's pretty much poised. Bitcoin is pretty much poised to fight inflation, because if things are continuously going up, but then Bitcoin is also increasing. If you own enough Bitcoin, you could buy a house today for, say, 10 Bitcoin. That will be worth maybe where you will only have to spend 1 Bitcoin in 2 years if the price continues to go up. So it seems to be the way to combat inflation, so to speak. Because a lot of people are trying to figure out, why should I invest in Bitcoin? Because like Tonya was saying, well, how do you spend it? And I'm aware that you can, just borrow against it, which is what we do with our stock portfolio anyway. I'll have to tell my son all the time, do not sell your crypto, just, borrow against it. But how do you convince someone who doesn't know, that they should take, I tell everyone now, they need to take a big portion of any of their money that they plan on saving and put it into some type of cryptocurrency.
That's a great point, because the $5 you had last year that would have bought 2 dozens of eggs can't buy 1 dozen of eggs this year. So imagine if you put that $5 in a savings account for a rainy day. That rainy day came this Monday when you needed some eggs, and you went to take that $5 out and buy some eggs, and you found out, number one, you couldn't, and number two, there is now a mandate that you can only buy 1 carton at a time because of the inflation of eggs alone. You find out other things, that the president has put a mandate out to stop producing pennies.
Yeah, I heard that.
What's the price of everything going to go up to? Because now anything that would have been $7.99 automatically is going to jump up to $8. Hey, it might even jump up to $10 because of the tariffs and the higher cost for things now. Well, juxtapose that to if you had some crypto somewhere from, say, a year ago when it was $60,000 a coin, and now fast forward to today where it's over $90,000 a coin, you could borrow against it or take some of that profit out and use that to purchase the goods that you need or want, instead of not having enough with the money you had saved up.
Makes sense. I mean, because even real estate, I mean, the amount that our parents pay for our houses, it's like 4 or 5 times that now. So even if your parents said, you know what, I'm going to save this $200,000 so my kids can buy a house. Well, you wake up 20 years later and that $200,000 cannot buy you anything.
Right, exactly.
But if you take that same $200,000 today and buy, say, 2 Bitcoin, and fast forward, you know, say 10 years from now, and 1 Bitcoin is worth, let's just say 500,000, which I do think is going to get over $1 million. But even if it's 500,000, now your 200,000 has grown substantially in that amount of time. So, you know, I guess, I don't know how, you do a lot of mentoring and coaching. Is it hard to convince people even today? Or are they kind of on board with, okay, I need to do this? And are they specifically wanting to do Bitcoin, or are they open to, well, do you even invest in any of the other coins?
I do. I have a portfolio. I take a portfolio approach to everything in life, whether it's a traditional investment, except for my man. Try to stick with one. Wait a minute now. She was like, well, now, stick to yourself, okay? My portfolio is straight. But everything else, take a portfolio outlook on it. So, yes, I have multiple currencies for different reasons. But what was the original question? I didn't got off track.
Is it hard to convince people?
Yes. You ain't got to convince nobody to get a portfolio on a man, but yes. When it comes to investing or doing something that's outside of the norm for people in anything, hair care, you're in the field. When you're telling someone, listen, you can't curl your hair every day. You can only curl it after you wash it. You need to buy these more expensive products because it will make your hair, condition of your hair better. Convincing someone to make a different life choice is just difficult across the board. And so what I try to focus on are those people who are seeking the knowledge. And I tell them, I'm giving you my knowledge from my ribs, because I've been there, I've done that, I've lost money, I've been scammed, I've had platforms, not the blockchain, but other platforms hacked, which can be hacked. It was called Discord. It's like a communication place. And I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Mama should not be doing anything between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. Those are my resting hours. I was getting ready to do something. I don't know why I was up that early, probably catching a flight, and was up and I did something stupid. I put my it asked me for my secret key, which is your password to your wallet, to merge my Discord with my wallet. And I was like, oh, okay. Somebody had spoofed it, put a layer over top of it, took my information, and it hit me. I was like, no, they shouldn't be asking me for my password. And when I went to go look at my wallet like that, it was like 8 seconds, the money was gone. So there are bad actors, and my focus is education. Come get educated. I told you I did Zooms, I went traveling all over the place, and after the election didn't go our way, My mother and I were down on Howard's campus waiting for the acceptance speech. It didn't come. We went home devastated at like 2:00 in the morning, and I spent 2 weeks in the house completely miserable. And the downloads kept coming. My mother would always say, to whom much is given, much is required. And easily, every response to anything was, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Like, don't come in here talking about you hungry. Don't come in here talking about you hot. Like, don't come in here with nothing unless you got a solution. So I kept getting those messages. The other message, I was staying off of social media. I wasn't watching the news. I was pretty much telling my husband and everybody, leave me alone. Like, I'm done. The internet told me I can go sit down now because I did my part, right? I was staying away from the internet. I was staying away from the news, everything that was going on around me, because the internet had told me, sit down, you did your part. And my husband kept sharing stuff. And I was like, oh, why is he sharing that? And it was like messages from God. Like, if you're not going to look at what I'm sending, I'm going to send somebody to you with the information. One of the biggest pieces of information was an article that he shared with me saying that only 3% of the global population even had a cryptocurrency wallet. 3%. Now imagine if only 3% have wallets, how many of them look like us? With this new administration, with their agenda that they had in place, and then they started touting crypto, I was like, oh, more people are going to miss the boat. They're going to take things away, and, you know, Social Security benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, which one? I forget. Department of Education services. You know, my grandson's school, they shut down for a whole day because people were concerned about their kids not being able to eat at school. So they shut the school down to have an emergency meeting. Like, these things were real and present and happening to people all around us. And so I was just sitting, wallowing in my sorrows, and it kept coming to me. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. To whom much is given, much is required. Yes, you and your family may be okay. What about the other people? And it was about 2 weeks of that, just downloads coming from all over the place, that I said, okay, that's it. I'm setting up my formal educational platform. So I took my 17 years of investment banking experience and 8 years of cryptocurrency experience and put together an online educational platform that didn't make people feel ridiculous for not understanding. Because I found that that is an intimidation factor a lot of times, to keep people from wanting to learn something because they make you feel crazy for not already knowing it. Duh, I'm asking you because I want to know. And so my platform, I have multiple ways that people can learn. The easiest way is self-paced. They go on, they learn at their own pace. I've had people that have completed it in hours, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I wasn't ready. Because after they finished the course, I then provided one-on-one coaching session with them. They were hitting me up like, okay, I'm done. What time can we talk now so we set my wallet up? I'm like, holy crap. And then there are other people that got the platform back in November when I set it up, and they're still working on it. So everybody gets to go at their own pace. And then I have an executive experience. My husband's an attorney, MD/JD by trade, and he facilitates those transactions I was talking about to you about, those large crypto transactions. People who need $1 million or more in crypto. Guys, there are CEOs of oil companies, there are executives all over the world who say, I don't want US currency for payment. Give me crypto. I don't want that trash. I don't want to be bothered with it. Give me crypto. But then they still don't understand how to open a wallet, how to get a wallet. And so I have executive experiences for CEOs, attorneys, anyone who says, I don't want to sit down and look at a website. Hit me one-on-one and educate me, and then I help them set up their portfolios. And then I provide ongoing education. Every Tuesday I go live with my inner circle and say, okay, here's something that you need to know that's a change in what's happening. Like last Tuesday, the administration and the new crypto and AI czar, and the ag secretary, a few people got online and had a conference at 2:30 and said absolutely nothing. I was like, well, that was helpful, right? And so when I had my Tuesdays with Tonya call that night, what I went over with them is how to build and diversify your portfolio. What I look at, and it doesn't, and I told them, you use it for stocks, use it for crypto. this is how you look at assets that you want to have in your portfolio, and this is how you build a sustainable portfolio. Because everything, whether it's a stock, whether it's the housing market, crypto, whatever it is, cars, the value goes up and down. And so first, being educated is step number one, to know what you're looking at. And then step number two, how to actually physically do the things and know what you're looking at, so that someone doesn't get Bitcoin today at 94,000. I didn't look at it today. Let's say it's 94,000 a coin, and then it goes down to 89,000 a coin, and they're like, oh, I need to get out of losing my money, and they sell at a loss. And so I help people understand when to get in, how to diversify their portfolio to make sure that they're never in a position where they are in panic mode. You're looking at it from an unemotional and educated point of view.
Yeah, for sure. So what platform do you suggest people use to purchase crypto?
Very, very easy to do is Cash App. You can go right on Cash App, buy some Bitcoin. They'll take you through some paces when you get ready to remove it. So if you need to, reach out to me. And then I can walk them through how to get out of it. Then my next favorite is Coinbase. It's very user-friendly. They make it very easy to access. And that is one of the things that the crypto and AI czar was saying, that it should be easier for people to access. I don't know if him and Trump talked before he went out there and started talking. You're like, did I say his name? You didn't say his name. Him and that man talked. Because he was like, wait a minute now, we're not telling everybody to go get it. You're right. Yeah. But that is one of the things that people are saying, it should not be so difficult. But things in life are difficult. You still have people who are making millions of dollars teaching Excel spreadsheet courses, right? You have people making millions of dollars helping people set up LLCs because they made that process complicated. So why wouldn't learning how to manage your own money require a new thought process? A new way of thinking, a little bit of education, and a little bit of hand-holding. And heretofore, there really hasn't been anyone to provide that.
That's true. And I mean, it's still, while it is simple to start investing in crypto, I just think that so many people are nervous because of the price. Like when they see the price of Bitcoin being at almost $100,000, they feel like they have already missed out. And they don't feel like it makes sense to enter into it now. And I mean, even if you tell them about lower price cryptos that are $2 a coin or whatever that have utility, they still feel like, oh, well, it used to be 10 cents and now it's $2. So I've already missed the boat on it, you know? So do you invest at all in, say, like, do you invest in XRP at all?
Yes, and you said something. I was like giggling and giddy over here. You said utility.
Yeah.
That is so important, that people learn the difference between meme coins, which are coins that are based on popularity contests, and coins with utility. Those are coins designed to improve life in some way on this new version of Web 3.0.
Yeah.
And just so people have an idea of the difference between Web 3.0 and what do we have now, right? So the first iteration of the internet was us getting those AOL discs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You got now.
Dialing up forever.
Yes, the dial-up, yes, in here. In our office, our dial-up was in our conference room. So you could not use the internet if someone was having a meeting in the conference room. Like we go way back, right? Fax machine was the go-to, and then that, and so there really weren't many people. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we specialized in was USDA guaranteed loans. And when you looked up USDA on the internet, the only thing that came up was our company. So I was like, we were way, way, way back in the beginning. First iteration of the internet. I had a client come, or a potential client come, and say he wanted to start a business that made websites for restaurants. I looked at him and listened to his his idea.
Mhm.
And when he left, I was like, oh, waste my time up in here. That was the stupidest thing I ever heard. I missed the boat. I missed the boat completely because I just wasn't able to think or visualize how this would be relevant. Now I don't go to a restaurant unless I look at the website first. I need to see the parking situation, what kind of shoes, okay, what kind of shoes do I need to be wearing, especially if I'm going by myself and he's not dropping me off at the door.
Yeah,
I need to figure this shoe situation out first and foremost. Second of all, the parking. Is it valet? Do I need to find some? Like I said, I should have asked way more questions before I came to meet with you guys, but I was like, oh, I'm just going. I'm excited.
Yeah.
What's on the menu? Are they going to have things that I like here? Or are they going to have things that I'm allergic to? Like, do I need to let them know, hey, I have these food allergies? Or is it just going to be flat out, no issues,
So you need it.
Yes. So I look at the websites first and the ratings. Very, very, very important, right? If it was trash, maybe we're not going there.
Yeah.
All right. Too many people said that.
Check those reviews.
Yes, check those reviews. And so I missed the boat. That was the next version, or no, excuse me, that was still Web 1.0. Web 2.0 was being able to have social media videos and instant chats with people. That's Web 2.0, and that became the information age on the internet. Things were moving at a much faster pace. There wasn't the dial-up. There was high speed. And here we are, Web 3.0. This is going to change everything in the world. And when you start thinking about AI technology, Amazon has warehouses that are 1 million square feet with no employees. The entire warehouse being ran by AI, blockchain, and robots. When you start looking at the current government and the infrastructure that they're looking at, they want to change how Social Security payments are made. They want to change now how people secure their benefits through any type of government assistance. Now they want them to do that on the blockchain. I think it's a phenomenal idea, but if you have people who may not even have a computer, who may not understand technology yet, and now you're trying to say, well, if you don't do these things, and oh, by the way, we don't have a way to educate you. You don't do these things, you don't get the benefits. Right? And then, you have this whole middle class that you're talking about. There will not be a middle class if they have it the way they want to. There will be the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
And, we take things for granted in the United States, because we have really cushy lives. We live comfortable. When you go outside of the United States to other countries, you can see very easily how it can become the haves and the have-nots very quickly. Very quickly. Sure. Now, mind you, the people who are making these changes,
we seen it
from other countries.
Yeah. And
they're from places where that structure was put in place.
Witnessing it playing out right now, I feel. And this may be an ignorant question.
There are no ignorant questions.
Because this is something that doesn't really deal in facts, but just a thought in listening to some of the things that we talked about today. Is there at all maybe a possible way where the dollar will become obsolete and this will become our only currency, some of the currencies that we're speaking about today?
They're already getting rid of the pennies.
Yes.
Period.
It's
going to be gone.
Yes.
For sure.
And they understand that the technology, that they can try to figure out a way to gain some modicum of control to ice some people out, can also create them wealth. Now, let me tell you what these trashy people did. Trashy.
Well, okay.
Yes. Okay. They went and created a meme coin in their name and got people excited about the meme coin that has no utility, but hey, you're my followers. If you didn't buy my sneakers, buy the meme coin.
Right.
They bought the meme coin, all excited, and what did he do? The day he got into the White House, him and his buddies wiped that money out early in the morning. They
Just
all
like
got
that.
the memo, right? What color to wear? We got the memo, what color to wear, right? They got the memo, take your money out. And the people who were uneducated and just on social media saying, oh yeah, did you get that? You get that? Yeah, it's blowing up.
Lost their money.
Lost their money. And it is not going to, like the stock market goes up and down, it will not return to a previous high or a new higher high. That money's gone.
Yeah.
And then he boasted on X about what coins he bought that morning that have utility. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of coins he added to his portfolio that have utility and
Off
completely
the backs of everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's the type of trashy people, your own supporters.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't anybody else. It was your own supporters that went and got it because they didn't know any better.
But that brings up an interesting point that I wanted to actually bring up, was meme coins, because it is a way to kind of, if you're a gambler, to kind of get in, make, 5-6 figures real quick and get out. But it is important to buy the coin at its inception and get out rather quickly as soon as you get to a high. So it is gambling.
Everybody has their poison.
Yeah, it is gambling. But so is, options. I trade options and that's gambling too, in my opinion. And I would do a meme coin, get in, get out real quick.
If you can play that game, play it. Now, listen, I ain't talking about nobody because my mama came down from Pennsylvania yesterday. My mom talking about you and told me she was like, "Oh, I bought you something. I'm gonna put it on your door." I was like, "Where are you at?" She was like, "Oh, I had some slot play at Maryland Live. I went to Maryland Live." And she was like, "And I'm on my way to Shippensburg." And she said, "I'm not feeling well." So and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, "Wait, you gonna go to my daughter's house? What come up in my house?" Come see me. So everybody has their poison now. She get free trips all the time. We go on vacation a lot, right? We go on cruises, we go other places. So it pays her. There's some perks for her. You just gotta know and understand that it is a risk. This is not an investment. For sure. Do not go and educate your cousin and say, "Don't do it. I lost all my money," because now you're giving him bad information because you took a risk that was unnecessary. You could have went to the casino and maybe had better odds or whatever you want to do with your money. I like my shoes. I like the different things I like. And I said, okay, my thought process is if I am going to invest, number one, I never invest more than I can afford to lose. Period. 100%. I don't care what it is. If it's a car, if it's my cousin that need to borrow some money, best way for you not to see a family member is to owe you some money.
Just don't do it.
Right? So, that is something that if you do it, you gotta own. You can't give them your mortgage money and hope and pray that their thing works out, right? So you only invest what you can afford to lose in any scenario, and the same with crypto, stocks, anything you're investing in.
That's true. So back to the blockchain. So I know you explained that the blockchain is a ledger where everything sits. So we know that, I've heard that eventually all real estate transactions will eventually go through the blockchain. You heard that as well? Or do you think that's actually going to happen soon?
Yes. I was so giddy. A few weeks ago, I found a podcast that I was on in 2019. I was Googling something and that popped up. I was like, oh my goodness. I took it and I put it on YouTube, just the replay of it. But in 2019, I was talking about everything that you could expect to happen on the blockchain and what the future of blockchain technology could look like. Because in some other countries, more advanced countries, it's already happening. In the US, we are the superpower, but we're slow. We're kind of slow to move to things. And so already in other countries, and soon to happen in the United States, an entire real estate transaction will be able to be completed without any professionals. You will not need a realtor because there are currently cryptocurrencies that are designed to give credit scores, if you will. They're both social and financial scores on people that say, yes, this person should be able to get the code, punch the code in to go in your house. You should trust them. Here's their trust score. The person goes into the house, they look around without the realtor because they didn't need them. All the data's there on their phone about the house. And now they're able to say, I like it. Let me go ahead and look up the title on this home. Title's on the blockchain. Done in seconds. And they're like, I got some money, but I need a mortgage. Boom. Apply for a mortgage on the blockchain. You can already do it now. You can apply for loans and mortgages on the blockchain, but there are kids that are playing video games, earning tokens, and they real good at it. They don't need no tutorials, no manuals, no nothing. You buy your kid a game for Christmas, it's getting broke that night, and you're like, okay, what you gonna do tomorrow? Why do you go ahead and beat that game tonight, right? These kids are really good at it. And so when they learn how to do video games with tokenization tied to money, it's game over. There will be 13 and 16-year-olds with millions of dollars that they are now the mortgage company, and they'll get their ding while they got their headset on like, Mom, I don't want any meatloaf. And they look at their phone and they're like, oh, this person needs a mortgage. Let me look at their score. Yeah, I'll give it to them. Put the phone down. Person's got a mortgage that quickly. Title's done. A lot quicker. Mortgage is done. Didn't need a realtor. All happened within a matter of minutes on the blockchain. So when you think about every aspect of life that could be changing, it's really important for people to get educated. My husband had a friend, he hangs out at cigar lounges, who was like, kind of skeptical. And my husband was telling guys like, y'all need to learn from my wife. Like, it'll be the best money you've ever spent. Just, we blow the money on cigars. Freaking take the class and get it over with. One guy was like, okay, I'll do it. Took the class. And he has now completed every class that I've ever offered. He's in every community that I offer. He is a developer who is building a development in Texas on the blockchain. He will accept crypto for payments. He is going to get blockchain certified. He has designed his own cryptocurrency for a community effort. That warms my heart, because it went from skepticism to education to action. And so I want more of that to happen. And I want more people to look like us, to just have the knowledge, because every single time we get the knowledge, we take over. For sure. Every single time.
Well, you know, they're going to try to stop that.
Well, we're gonna keep on educating.
So if someone's just, they're trying to figure out what to do, you know, the future is blockchain, crypto, and AI. What type of business or career do you think someone should or could go into that would take advantage of all that technology?
Every career. I was doing an executive session for J. Wendell Gordon, a prominent attorney in Baltimore, and then I was talking to him and his brothers, and they were talking about, and he was like, I can't understand, like he got his portfolio set up. He's like, I don't know why somebody would spend their money. Like, that makes no sense to me. And then I started talking about the careers, and he was telling his brothers, like, y'all need to listen to this about what's going to change with careers. And they're all HBCU grads, and they're talking about, you know, making sure that people understand, don't get a degree in a program for a career that may not be in existence in the future, or not even in the future, really soon, right? And so he said, I'm good, because when people still suing people on the blockchain, I'm the crypto lawyer now. And I'm like, you go ahead, boy. You got it, right?
You're not the warrior lawyer. You're the crypto lawyer.
You're going to tear them up with that contract. So people are now starting to see, like, okay, I need to expand my vision around what can happen with the future, because we are moving into the Jetson age where everything is going to be technology. My youngest daughter, we have 4 children. My youngest daughter was getting ready to go off to college, went to a few schools that we looked at in Maryland, and one of them was Goucher College. And I was keeping my mouth shut, because my oldest daughter, when we went to schools in DC, I was like, oh, I love American University. I can see myself down here. She was like, oh no, this ain't happening. That's a wrap, I'm not coming here. So I was like, okay, let me be quiet. And the president of the university had said they had canceled 17 different degree programs. This was 5 years ago.
Really?
They canceled 17 different degree programs, he said, because I refuse to have parents paying for degrees that will be obsolete, for careers that would be obsolete. That's not happening everywhere. People are still taking money for careers that will not be available. You know, you think about even your tax return. You get it done for free on Cash App. You can get it done for free on so many platforms. And even as they become more complicated, they'll still be able to be done on the blockchain through smart contracts, and your payments will be coming on the blockchain. So more and more CPAs, people in the financial field need to start looking at how they use this technology to change their career path as well.
So I have an interesting question. So the blockchain does pretty much secure everything. Do you think, like, as a single woman that's going into, say, a new relationship, would my crypto be protected from, would I need to add that to the prenup? Or
Absolutely.
Is it protected separately?
It needs to be added to the prenup.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
can you put crypto in a trust?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I go through in my courses and in the continuing education, different tips and things that you need to know and understand to protect your assets, from security aspects, from tax aspects, different things that are developing that you need to know to make sure that you're on track.
Okay.
Yes, because it's ever changing.
Okay. So even if he doesn't have the key, your secret phrase, I'm just
Listen.
Right.
because I mean, how
It can
would,
become a marital asset.
because he wouldn't even know I have it.
Well, if they don't know you, well, they know now. They know Dawn got that crypto.
Because I'm just saying, if they don't know, right? They wouldn't.
If they don't know, they don't know. But when they know,
Yeah.
it can become a marital asset
And-
that gets fought over.
And definitely if you have it on the ledger, like on the cold wallet.
Yeah. Well, the government, I've heard, have come after people who lost lawsuits, and they said, we know that you have crypto assets, liquidate those assets.
Isn't that the whole point of crypto and the blockchain? That the
Well,
government should
it's
not be
like,
able to get to it.
The government doesn't control it, but it's an asset that you own. And if you need to pay the person who you've wronged, that party, you need to liquidate whatever assets you have to pay them. I mean, the governor of New York, the woman that he disrespected in Atlanta, he had to give up them coins, and he was like, I don't got it. Okay, bro, sell your house, sell the car, or give them the car.
Right.
Whatever
right.
you want to do, but those assets are now theirs because you've lost this lawsuit, and that's part of the judgment.
There's no way to, so you can't put it in a trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I like Dawn.
Well, you see the wheels.
Yeah, right. I know. I'm like, I got stuck because my wheels were turning too.
Because
on
that's
that
one of those things. I'm just not saying anything.
Yeah.
They don't know about it anyway.
Well, part of the education is also making sure that your legacy is secure.
Yes.
And so I urge people, last Sunday, I do a Sunday introductory call for free to just teach people about the concepts of cryptocurrency. And there were 3 of my students who came on with children and 1 came on with a spouse. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And it's important that it's not just you that has this information because we all pass, we're all going to go, period, right? When we go, who knows that you have that portfolio? Who knows what to do with it? Who knows what the secret key means? Who knows if you put it somewhere the right way for them to be able to use the information to gain access to the wallet? Who knows that they sit the papers out on the table, they put them near, they're holding their baby, the baby spills milk on the paper, they crumble up, throw it away. It's just some words, it doesn't mean anything. And so those are a part of the education I provide too, exactly how to handle that process going forward.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
So anything you want to leave our guests with?
Yes, there is a community of like-minded people that are ready and willing to support people in their journey to learning about crypto because it is scary. There's misinformation. There are bad actors, period. It's a lot to take on. When people are busy, you got kids, you got all these other stressors going on in your life. Your money's already stretched to the max and these fools is talking crazy. Like now I got to spend more money on more things. My daughter and her husband, they are doing very well. But when they talk about cutting breakfasts, their entire school district gets free breakfast and lunch.
Wow.
They wouldn't have qualified for free breakfast and lunch, but that is like money out their budget that they don't have to worry about. My grandson is bougie. He needs bachata bread and certain kind of cheese, and he doesn't like food reheated. And I'm like, he don't know they making that mass meal at the school, but that one was different. He accepted that. But at home, he was like, I feel like you guys don't know me.
Yeah.
You're giving me heated up food. I don't like the heated up food.
Yes.
He wants fresh food every day. And so now they're looking at their budget. Their grocery bill is going to double because now they got to pack lunches. They got to make sure it's something he's going to eat. They got to make food in the morning, and he's picky. And then the price of food is going up. So when you start thinking about, well, I don't have any money to invest anywhere, because you're looking at things, I go through that mental exercise with people as well to help them find the money they didn't think they had, to put it somewhere so that they can have
that's good.
what they want in the future.
Because most people are saying, I don't have it.
Right.
And snatching them tax returns. Please do not go buy a couch, a new car,
another couch.
Another couch.
Every year.
A big flat screen TV. Yes. Do not. Do not. Your kid didn't need that toy. Like, do not get that. Let me show you how to make sure that your kid can get whatever they want for the rest of their life.
Right.
Yeah, because I've recently I've been going really hard with just putting every extra dollar in Bitcoin, but I stopped buying so much stuff. And I realized how much I was overspending on so many other things.
Right.
The eating out. Oh, let me just buy that pair of shoes real quick.
Right. Yeah.
Even some extra trips that I have not taken. But we spend a lot of extra money, and I've just said, you know what? I'm going to focus down. I'm trying to buy as much as I can before it goes too high.
Every lunch, my husband and I are home every day during the day, retired. Every lunch that we get is over $70 for two people. When you think about,
isn't it crazy?
30 or 35 per person per plate. I mean, it could be at the local Jamaican spot. Like,
it is.
Do you need those oxtails?
Can't
you get some wings or something?
They should today.
Right. And I mean, if you DoorDash or Uber Eats,
that takes it a whole nother level.
Yeah,
he was sick. I was busy last week. The fee for the DoorDash meal that came was $15 for the fee.
That's crazy.
So it was still over $70 with the fee and everything else. And I didn't even really get a full meal. I just got what was on a plan. It was like some stewed salmon or something. And it was still over $70.
Yeah.
Wow.
For every meal. So when you start looking at all those things, like, you could have cooked.
Yeah.
I don't like to cook, but you could have.
And put some,
No, for sure. So putting all your extra money into some type of investment vehicle.
Yes.
That's
so for
important.
the beginner, what's 3 things that they can do to become a crypto icon, so to speak?
Come get with your girl.
Sign up for her courses.
And I even have free courses because I don't want anyone walking away saying, I don't have it. I couldn't learn. I couldn't get started. I have free courses. I have on the social media, I'm always giving free tips. I want people to have the information, but for those who want to learn, understand that there's a built out platform that is structured to help you learn at a pace with the information compounding on top of each other to make sure you get everything that you need so you're straight, right? But if you're saying like, just what do you got for free? Come on, keep following me. In my free communities, you can come in and get as much information as possible. In my free community, I even have a series of 6 videos that helps people build their crypto confidence. So that they can start there watching those free videos. Like, I really want people to be empowered. So education is the key to becoming a crypto boss, to getting your paper right. Mindset is the second thing. I start every one of my calls off with a mindset exercise, because if some of us are in positions or beliefs that you should not have, or being wealthy is a sin, boo, you need that so that you can help other people, especially right now, right? And if your nieces, cousins, grandparents are going to be losing access to insurances or meals or anything, you having extra money gives you the ability to be the rich auntie and take care of everybody, right? And so being able to help people frame that in their mind. And then number 3, I would say taking action. And I give people actionable steps so that it's say, okay, here's where I need to start. Here's step 1, here's step 2. And then once you're a part of my community, in the paid community, you can get me, or mostly in the chat, but I get it right away so that I'm able to be anywhere in the world. I could be on 2 Zooms, have 2 screens open and answering somebody's chat right away. They have that access to me so that they can get things done.
So where would they find your community?
www.tonyalawrence.com. Net.
Okay.
Tonyalawrence, TonyaLawrence.net. And on all social, I am at the Blockchain Queen.
Mhm.
I love that name.
Yeah, I do.
I love that name so much. Yeah. So that's amazing. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
guys for
joining
having
us.
me.
I learned a lot today. I'm so excited to now
Yes.
be a part of your community.
Yes, come on, girl, come on.
Yes, I'm ready.
I know. So thank you all for joining us again for another episode of the Icon Theory podcast. Today, go get that money.
Yes.
Get that money.
Money.
Okay.
Yes.
You just have to start with a little bit, just invest a little bit and build up your confidence in understanding crypto. And of course, make sure you follow Tonya on all platforms. And I would definitely join her community so that you can at least start by getting the basics. So we'll see you next week.